But now then, it's time to meet my co-host on the show. They are at home somewhere in the county this evening. Shall we just remind ourselves of Graham's intro?
Hello, my name's Graham and I'm your co-host in Stroud this evening. So a lot of people who know me will know that I am quite heavily tattooed and got a bit of a daft haircut and a Mohican. But I bet you won't be able to guess what my first concert was.
I love a guessing game on the evening show. This is good. Should we say hi to Graham? Hi, Graham.
Hey, John, how you doing?
Hey, yeah, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks. Yeah, not bad. It's a
Good.
bit wet outside, so I've managed to remain dry.
Yeah, have you been outside at all today? Have you braved the weather, or have you tried to stay indoors as much as physically possible?
Well, I've kind of watched it from the office and, just eyed everybody up and then had to make a mad dash for it at lunchtime, which, invariably means I got soaked. But hey, that's life.
That's all right. Yeah, it's okay. Have you dried out now?
Yeah, 100% dry, sitting here. Lovely.
Good. I was worried we were going to have you sitting next to the radiator for the evening while you co-host, just to make sure you dry out.
No, I'm all good. I'm all good.
Good. I'm glad about that. Well, look, thanks for joining us on the show. I like your introduction because this is like a bit of a guessing game. So you said, right, I'm heavily tattooed. I've got, like you said, I've got a daft haircut when you're talking about your own hair. Like,
yeah, well, it's because my hair, as asked my barber, is notoriously difficult to do anything with. It kind of grows out rather than down. It's blonde and it's very thick.
Right.
Like a sheep, if you will. Just
Right.
constantly going out. So, yeah, in lockdown, I decided to take a razor to it and now sport a lovely mohawk, which is good for a financial advisor, isn't it?
I mean, it's not something I would expect from a financial advisor, but that's why I like that you're with us on the show tonight, Graham. So that's kind of,
yeah, exactly. Great.
When you say, so is it a blonde Mohican, or have you sort of dyed it a fantastic colour as well?
It is. Well, it was blonde. It's probably going grey, and I think probably Mohican's a little bit generous. It's just the blonde clump is now shaved either side, but it's the best thing I can do with it. It's the best thing I could do with it. So yeah.
Blonde clump. When you
the blonde, you wait. Next year, everyone will have a blonde clump. It'll be all the rage.
The thing is, in my head, it's kind of like cross between a sheep, and you know those things you used to make when you were kids, like with the eggshells growing the cress at the top of the head.
You've got it. You've actually got it. Except mine's not the cress. Mine's the kind of cotton wool bit that the cress grows out of. Yeah, that's more like it. But you're spot on, John.
Good. Okay. So, right, I've got completely confused now where we were. We've done the tattoos, we've done the hair, and then So, despite all of this, then you said you'll never guess what my first gig was.
Well, I mean, you might, but I'd be surprised.
See, this is now you could be double bluffing though, couldn't you, Graham? Because it could be like something like really heavy metal or something, or
like Metallica or something.
Yeah, or you could be trying to throw me off the scent, and it could be like S Club 7.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's not S Club 7. Although, you know, what a great first concert that would have been.
Well, yeah.
But you're not a million miles off. Less members. It's a sole person. It's a single person.
Single person. Lamar.
Yeah. No, afraid not.
Go on, you're gonna have to tell me.
Right. Well, my first ever stadium concert experience was Kylie Minogue on the Showgirl tour. Now, before you think, he might have been the early 90s, he might have been young, and everyone has a young first concert. I was 22. Okay. So and nothing wrong with Kylie Minogue. It was brilliant. But yeah, not quite the rock persona that I would have expected, maybe.
No, I think that is fair. And, like you say, I would go and see Kylie. I bet she puts on a great show. But, talk me through why you went and who you were surrounded by also with your tattoos and your Mohican.
Well, I was with my then girlfriend, now wife, May, and she was a big Kylie fan. And, yeah, it was a big gig in London. Don't remember the stadium. And it was... And I didn't know what to make of it, because prior to that, in my kind of uni days and teens, I was more into the whole dance music thing. So I was all kind of like going to clubs rather than big concerts. It just wasn't part of my world. And then so I didn't know what to expect. And because I like music anyway, and the atmosphere, and it was just amazing, because you can't not get into Kylie when it's blasted out, from all speakers and all angles, and everyone's waving glow sticks. And I just grinned, I think, for like an hour and a half. Because it was such a spectacle, and sometimes that's what you need. You're doing Positivity Week, Kylie Minogue, man. That's always positive.
Yeah,
Always
I don't know.
fun.
We might have a bit of Kylie if you introduce later, actually.
Ooh,
Where's your
that'd
cut?
be good,
Maybe.
yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
I should be so lucky. Hey.
Way. So look, that's all right. That's okay. I'll let you off just this once, Graham. So look, you are co-hosting. Are you at home or are you in the office right now then?
I'm at home. At
Okay.
the moment. Yeah, I came home specially.
Okay. Talk me through what's going on around you then.
Oh, very little, because it's me in my upstairs room. Mainly because the office is really echoey. And when I've sort of recorded, podcasts and done other bits and pieces, it just echoes. It's just a nightmare. So I sort of come home and I sit here, and I'm upstairs and it's all padded and soft. Not the room, just the bed, and So hopefully you don't get much echo and feedback. I'm not in a padded room at the top of the house.
No. I got what you meant with the pillows and the bed and stuff. But okay, you've dropped me a few. You dropped me a few little nuggets along the way now. So you said I'm a financial advisor with loads of tattoos, also a podcaster as well. Where should we start? Should we start with the financial advice thing, Graham? When did you start doing this?
Yeah. Well, I graduated from university and I was working in betting shops, believe it or not. I was managing betting shops in Bristol. And I kind of was looking, what do I want to do? And I kind of liked money and I liked people. And I sort of fell into financial advice and specifically mortgage advice. So my official title is I'm a mortgage and insurance advisor. But as part of that, we kind of deal with people and their finances, so credit cards and loans and help advise them on the best way to structure these things to make sure they can achieve their aims, which ultimately for a lot of people is buying and owning their own home. So that was 13 years ago. I've done it in a few different guises since then, a lot of the time being quite suited and booted, but then started up my own business, Hudson Rose, about 2.5 years ago. And we're based in Nailsworth, which is, a nice place to be.
Yeah, okay. So, like you say, really, when I think of a financial advisor, and I say this in the nicest way possible to both you and any financial advisor that might be listening, I don't picture someone with tattoos, kind of a... what did you describe your hair as earlier? Mound?
Oh, the blonde clump.
The clump, that was it. So the tattoos, the clump, it's kind of not what I have in my head, and I suppose that's probably the stereotype that's coming through, but do you get that a lot?
I do. Well, this is it, right? And I kind of thought, I've been the guy in the suit, and I've hidden my tattoos, and I've made sure my clump was, combed. But after a while, I thought, you know what? We're dealing with people, right? And financial advisors don't have to be this suited and booted, sharp dressed kind of thing, because we work for our clients, and our clients are people like us. So, and I think if you're receiving financial advice, if you're buying a house, you want to feel comfortable and you want to feel relaxed, and what you see is what you get with us. That's how we roll. And I'm sure some people would look at us and think, oh no, not for us, but for our clients, I think we really hit the mark, and we just like to have that nice relaxed environment where you can really ask questions, not feel afraid to ask questions, not feel like you've got to act a certain way. And yeah, we'll get the job done. And I think it's a nice new approach. And the feedback is people love it. So hopefully we're the first of many.
Yeah, and it's quite interesting when you talk about being relaxed. So my friend David from here earlier on said that he finds money scary. And money has always been a scary thing. So if you have to go into a quite sharp office with someone in a suit, which is a world which, depending on what you do, might be totally alien to you. Yeah. Actually, I can understand why many people would find money really scary if that's what they associate it with.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think people do find money scary. I mean, money's not scary. You just got to know how to use it and a few things to be aware of. And once you've learnt the basic ropes, it's fine. I think scary DIY is scary. God, that's hard. Like putting up pictures and all that kind of stuff. That's proper scary stuff. But I always tell people I'm fairly useless at most things, but I'm pretty good at I'm pretty good at what I do.
Okay. All right. Well, look, we'll catch you again in a few minutes' time. We'll just break for a track, Graham. Okay. And we'll talk a little bit more about this because you're going to help us out later on. We are doing Positivity Week, but we're trying to offer people some practical advice tonight as well. So we will talk a bit about money, actually, and there may be things that people are thinking about, particularly at this moment in time. So we're going to do that, but we're going to talk about the podcast and a whole load of other stuff as well. So we'll break for a bit of Jack Johnson. Be back with you in a few minutes' time, Graham. All right.
Fantastic. Look forward to it.
Thank you.
Jon Smith.
BBC Radio Gloucestershire.
That wasn't a very good sentence, but you know what I mean. All right. Should we just go back to co-host Graham, who's in Stroud and Nailsworth? Hiya, Graham, you all right?
Hiya, John, are you right?
Can you help me out, please? Because I can't make my words come out about the sun.
It was a fine sentence. I knew exactly what you meant.
Thank you. Thank you for the support.
That's
This
right.
is what I
No
need
problem.
tonight. Good. So look, before that track, then we're finding out about you as a financial advisor. We found out that your first gig was Kylie Minogue as well, despite all your tattoos and your clump on your top
Yep.
of your head, which is a haircut. Which I think you should go around barbers now around Stroud and further afield and just get that up in the window and call it the clump, like you said, the
People
set
could ask
trend.
for it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll have a blonde clump, please.
yeah.
I tell you, look, 2021, year of the clump. You wait. You wait and see.
So it's just such a great word. Should we move on? We were talking
Go
about
on.
financial advice then. So this is what you do, particularly mortgages is your thing and loans and all that kind of stuff as well. And kind of making money not scary. So where does your passion for this come from? You said, I like people, I'm all right with money, but is there a burning passion there as well? You know, is there more to it than that for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's helping people. And it's something that I've always found fairly straightforward. Like I said to you before, I'm not handy in the slightest. In fact, my father-in-law says I'm as handy as toothache, and I know exactly what he means. So it was this combination of getting to chat to people, them coming to us with a problem, and then kind of working out how we can fix it for them. And that, you know, and that's kind of what makes you get out of bed in the morning. People look at me like I'm mad when I say, you know, I've got the best job in the world. But I honestly believe it. It's, demystify stuff for people and help them out. We've all got different skills and we need to share them.
And again, you know, going back to those stereotypes, I am surprised, and I probably shouldn't be, but you know, it kind of sounds like a lot of numbers and a lot of spreadsheets and stuff. But I'm getting the impression, Graham, that for you, that's not really the case. That's not how it works.
No, we like to speak to people without all the jargon, because we have the jargon. Every industry has its jargon. We'll deal with that side of it, and then we'll put it into normal language, so we can all discuss it and understand it, and make it clear. Because mortgages are a really big commitment. I mean, they're the biggest commitment anyone will ever have, and most people only move house like 2 or 3 times, I'd have thought, in their life. So no one knows what they're doing. I'll be honest with you, it doesn't matter whether you're the first time buyer or you're on your 4th or 5th house. The questions we get asked are the same, whether you're earning millions of pounds a year, or you just started your first job. And I think that's the great thing. That's the leveler, is that it is scary, it is important, and it's nice to have someone on your side that you can ask the questions of. And that's what we do. We're the person on your side.
I must admit, Graham, you're making me feel a whole lot better just speaking to you tonight about money. It's like a warm money blanket, just making me feel good about it, you know?
That's nice, isn't it? It's the clump.
It's the clump.
It's a money clump.
Money clump. So you will be back, you and the clump, later on in the show.
Good, thank you. Excellent.
We're going to talk, because actually you are going to bring us a little bit of advice as well when it comes to this. If people have got questions about money, and actually perhaps if you wanted to get a question to us, you could text Gloss in your message to 81333 if there's something you would like to ask Graham this evening. But I think really we'll talk about kind of, the last few months has been different and strange and totally different from one person to another person, Graham. So there will be things about, moving and mortgages and jobs and loans and all that kind of stuff. Cool. So a bit later on, we'll talk about some of that. You're going to be with us, but also you are going to introduce some tracks as well and tell us what's coming up as you co-host with me from the padded room you described in your home earlier on. And we'll catch you a bit later on.
Fantastic. Thank you much.
Tonight then, co-hosting the show from home, it's Graham. Hi again, Graham.
Hi, John. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. You okay?
I'm very well. Yeah, very good.
Good. I lost track earlier on because you said the office is in Nailsworth. Is your home in Nailsworth as well?
I'm in Minchinhampton, so just outside Nailsworth. But Nailsworth is where I work. Is where my office is in the centre on Bridge Street.
Right. Okay. So you're right in the middle. And then whereabouts in Minchinhampton? Are you kind of right in the centre? Or are you on the common? Where are you?
I'm right in the centre of Minchinhampton, not far from the Chippy, which is no bad thing, and the pub. So ideal, really.
Sounds like a tactical move, that, to be honest.
It is. It's certainly it's no good for my waistline though, because you can smell the chips wafting down the street, and sometimes you just think, that's what we'll do tonight for tea. So I love it though.
Good. Yeah, that sounds good. So look, earlier on we were talking about you, kind of your journey in being a financial advisor, and you said, look, I've done the suit thing, and actually we kind of wanted money to be more accessible to people. I might be paraphrasing a bit, but that's kind of the gist of what we were saying, Graham, earlier on.
100%, yeah, exactly. It should be something that people can feel comfortable when receiving advice and not feel like there's some big, invisible wall between them and the advisor, because it's not like that.
Okay, so on the show this week then, we've been doing positivity throughout the week and kind of encouraging people maybe to look at things differently. And I said, by the time we get to the end of the week, we need some kind of real practical advice when it comes to various bits of life. So let's talk money for a few minutes then, Graham, when it comes to certain things. I mean, at the moment, what is the biggest thing at the moment when people are coming to you, particularly with everything that's going on? What's kind of the big thing that's on people's minds?
I guess the recession is something that's focusing a lot on people's minds at the moment, and it's a big, scary word, isn't it? It's a word that we all hear, and it comes up and raises its head every, 5-10 years or whatever, and we all tend to worry about it. But what I say to people is, it is just a word. It's a technical term that economists have for periods of negative growth, and the best way I think to look at it is not go into a blind panic about it. Don't worry about it. It's just like bumps in the road. It's just bumps in the road of the economy. So, if you need to, if it is worrying you or concerning you, a couple of little tweaks in what you do day to day, and ride it out like you would turbulence on an airplane.
Okay, and that is the thing, isn't it? You're right, actually. It is quite a big and scary word, particularly when you see the headlines about it being the worst one in ever, and you see the graph and you see the line and it goes like through the floor of the chart. So when it comes to what you do in particular, when it comes to houses and mortgages, how does that all tie up then with some of the advice that you're giving at the moment?
Well, it can be tricky to know what to do when we can't predict the future. If we had that magic crystal ball, then we'd all be living on a yacht somewhere in some far off land, because we'd have made lots of money knowing what was going to happen. So we can't second guess the market. And there's lots of people paid a lot of money to do exactly that. And in my experience, they're only 50% right. So you've got to use your own judgment. What you can do is you can prepare yourself, okay, for what's going on. And one of the things that I am most keen on, that we do in our line of work anyway, is a budget planner. Now, a budget planner sounds like the most boring thing in the world, but literally, if you spend 10 minutes doing this, because, knowledge is power and all that, if you just look at what you've got coming in each month, what you've got to make out payments each month, so, rent, mortgage, bills, council tax, those sorts of things, and just work out what have you got left at the end of the month to play with. And then once you know what you've got, what's coming in, what's going out, you've done your plan, and you can spend the bit that you have left over on the fun stuff like eating out and go to the gym or go to the cinema, whatever it is you want to do. But and by knowing that, you don't end up spending recklessly. You don't kind of go a bit nuts because you kind of keep yourself in that budget. So budget planners, they're brilliant things, and you only do them once and then you're okay.
and that's the thing. That's not even if you're thinking of buying a house or in that position. It's just a good thing to do anyway.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I do them for everything. I probably do them too much. I sort of, if we're going on holiday, it's good to do a budget planner. Work out, well, what you're going to spend on petrol getting there, do you think? Estimate it. And, maybe add a little bit more on just to make sure you're comfortable with it. And then everything's a lot more easy, because there's nothing worse than sort of, a bill coming out that you hadn't accounted for, or, a credit card statement that comes through and you hadn't thought about. So if you just do that budget planner, get it all down on paper, I think it really helps focus your mind and helps you avoid those nasty surprises.
Okay, all right, that's a good tip. And when it comes to, particularly at the moment then, there might be people who were thinking about maybe spending some savings or, moving on, maybe buying a house, moving from renting. I mean, in your opinion, is now a good time to do that, maybe if you are a first-time buyer, or is it better to kind of hold on for a bit?
It very much depends on your situation. So everybody has to move at some point. I mean, I'm talking to you now, my house is on the market, John. We are a family of 4. We're outgrowing our digs down the road from the chippy, and, we're looking to sell and move on. And sometimes, you've just got to do it, whether the time is right or not. If you're buying your home, remember that, you're buying your home. It's not necessarily an investment first and foremost, because, to be honest, what makes a good investment is not always what makes a good home for your needs. So I think be quite sensible about what you're looking at. Don't stretch yourself too much. Take advice, do your budget planner, know what you've got to play with, and then if you do decide to go forward and buy a property or move house, you've got all the information to hand, and then you're not going to come unstuck with any nasty surprises. So I think there's there's some people that will be holding off on moving for a little bit. And for their situation, that's probably the right thing, because it's a tricky time at the moment. But like I say, it's not something just to be running scared of. Just be aware.
One more thing then, when it comes to this, if you are someone who maybe you have just come out of uni and it's been a stressful few months, or basically you're going into a job and you're thinking about saving, have you got any tips on whether it's a good time to save or the best way of doing that, and maybe putting a bit of money away and looking to the future?
Yeah, I mean, it's always a good idea to save. In our financial advice world, we'd always recommend to try and have 3 months worth of income put aside in savings for that rainy day, that fund where the unexpected comes, the boiler breaks or something awful happens. But that's not always possible to do. And if you're just coming out of university, you need to build that pot. I'm going to come back to budget planners, John. With your budget planner, you're going to know how much you can put to one side. But beyond that, if you sort of want something a bit more automated, there's a load of apps out there now that can kind of save the change, and it all kind of adds up. So there's something called Moneybox, which is an app whereby it basically rounds up the cost of a purchase on your debit card. So if your coffee was, £1.85, whatever, it might suggest, well, we'll pay £2 and we'll put that 15p into savings. And if you think of all the transactions you do with your debit card day to day, just those little microtransactions can help you begin saving. And then once you see a pot growing, you could put some of that spare cash left over the end of each month from your budget planner into that pot. And then, hey presto, before long, hopefully you'll have your 3 months and your safety net, which will see you through any choppy waters.
Fantastic. Graham, brilliant advice. Thank you. You will be back with us later on in the show as you co-host tonight. Are you enjoying co-hosting, by the way, and introducing some tracks and stuff alongside all the fab advice you're giving?
I'm absolutely loving it, John. It's
Good.
Great fun. And thank you very much for having me on.
Oh, you're welcome. All right, we'll catch you again a bit later.
Fantastic. See you soon.
Jon Smith.
BBC Radio Gloucestershire.
It's BBC Radio Gloucestershire, and we're back now for the final time with Graham, who's at home in Minchinhampton. Hi again, Graham.
Hi, John.
Hi, look, thank you again for all the brilliant advice we had when it comes to finances and money and mortgages earlier on. I think a lot of people have taken some stuff away from that, so thank you.
That's no problem.
It's what you do. You mentioned kind of doing the suit thing. You now do it very differently. So when you say this is very different and your office is in Nailsworth, if I was to walk in tomorrow, maybe expecting, again, I'm going back to the stereotypes which we started with, grey walls and briefcases. I mean, I'm guessing that's not what I'm going to find.
No, if you come to our office in Nailsworth, then you're most welcome to do so. You will find a nice sofa, a nice chair, a big pink neon sign that we have up that says "Your mortgage, our problem," because that's our company tagline, and lots of nice pictures, books about music, and actually some Lego that I enjoy building and I take down there. So it's a lot of people. Someone once said it looked like an art gallery before it launched, which is nice. Other people say it looks a bit like a trendy barber's. Someone say it looked like a tattooist. But universally, it doesn't look like a financial advice or a mortgage advisor's office. So we're doing something right.
And I know that when you're not in the office, one of the things you mentioned at the start of the show is the podcast you do as well. So just tell me what that's all about.
So we've taken a bit of a break on that at the moment, but this is the something called the Nailsworth podcast, which is a podcast that myself and Jess, who works at Hudson Rose, launched back in lockdown. Really because there's a lot of interesting people in and around Nailsworth. There's a lot of interesting businesses, and I was just thought, well, let's speak to them. Let's find out their stories, because you know what it's like. You're in a small town, and you know someone who knows someone who did something interesting, and you think, well, let's speak to those people. So as we've done 5 shows so far, we've taken a summer break, and we're going to be back in the autumn, and it's just half an hour, 45 minutes of me chatting to some business owners, some community groups. We had the mayor on, and just finding a bit about their story and what brought them to Nailsworth. What they like about the town, and what experiences they've had. Really, it's really good fun to do.
Well, it sounds brilliant. There might be people listening who want to find the episodes you've done so far, but also find out a bit more about Hudson Rose as well. So just wrap this up for me then, Graham. Where can people find all of this online?
All of it's online. So if you want to find out about Hudson Rose, which is the mortgage and insurance business that I run in Nailsworth, you can go to our website, hudson-rose.co.uk, or find us on Facebook and Instagram, where you can see the blonde clump in all its glory. and if you're interested in listening to the podcast, you can search the Nails with the Podcast on any of the major podcast hosting places like Apple and Google and all the other ones, or go to the website for that, which is thenailswithpodcast.co.uk.
Graham, thank you so much. And for those who didn't hear earlier on, the blonde clump was the haircut, which I might get one next year, you know?
I don't doubt it.
Yeah, I might go there. For now, thank you so much for co-hosting the show with me tonight, Graham.
Fantastic. Thanks. I really enjoyed it, John.